Namaste. When Rahu Ketu transit happens, then the impact of it varies based on what you are. So, Rahu transiting through the 8th house can be a difficulty for A person, but for B person, it can become a positive placement. How? That is what I have discussed in this podcast. Always remember, it all depends on what you are. Rahu is desire, and the placement of Rahu signify the quality of desire that you come up in this life. When Rahu and Ketu both are good in your horoscope, then Saturn also becomes good. Because when the quality of desire is good, obviously you will do good karma. And when you do good karma, Saturn is always going to bless you. It is all interconnected. It's not that you apply the same rule to everybody, because we are human beings. We are not products manufactured in some factory. Every individual is unique, and every individual's birth chart is also unique. It is very unfortunate when people label a certain person born on certain nakshatra as bad. You cannot do that, because every person is unique. So person born on Ashlesha is not necessarily bad. If you go around through the internet and you try to find out about Ashlesha nakshatra, you will be surprised that people have written so many bad things about Ashlesha. Whereas there are so many great people born with Ashlesha rising on ascendant or Ashlesha moon. The same is the case with Adra. The same is the case with Mula. Never generalize, because every person is unique and every person's battle is also very unique. And this is what I have tried to explain, that how Rahu Ketu transit impacts you based on what you are. So let's begin. And don't forget to listen the beautiful story which I have shared at the end of this podcast. Whenever you want to know the outcome of Rahu Ketu transit on you, you have to see what you are. Whether you are Rahuish or Ketuish. If you are a Rahuish person, the Ketu transit will cause trouble, and Rahu transit will bring more favors and benefits. If you are a Ketuish person, Rahu transit will cause trouble, and Ketu transit will bring favors and benefits. It all depends on what type of soil you are made of. Understand this, because this is a very deep phenomena. A Ketuish person has the understanding to appreciate the Ketu transit. No matter what house Ketu moves in, he is perfectly aware that the house in which Ketu will transit will be the house that will indicate Shunya, zero results. For example, if his Ketu is transiting in the 7th house, he understands that now Ketu wants him to slow down on sex and focus more on his self. And because he is Ketuish and he understands the signal of Ketu, he accepts the signal of Ketu. He finds absolutely no problem with Ketu transit because he is a Ketuish person. How will you define a person as a Ketuish? When he is born with moon in Ketu's nakshatra, or when his moon is with Ketu in one sign, or when his ascendant is on Ketu's nakshatra, such as Magha, Mula or Ashwini. Any of these three conditions define him as a Ketuish person. And the fourth condition is when Ketu himself is placed in the ascendant. In contrast, a Rahuish person having Ketu transit in the 7th house will become frustrated because his nature is of wanting more and more and more sex and more power and more authority, and now Ketu appears to him like an enemy. You see, this is how the whole beauty of the stars and planets is. Only if you are able to resonate with it, relate and rejoice in it. Bhogi is also Shiva. Yogi is also Shiva. Ghor is also Shiva. Good is also Shiva. Aghor is also Shiva. Bad is also Shiva. It is only in India, in our Hindu community, that we have a God that has both energies within him, the good and the bad, Ketu and Rahu, positive and negative. That makes Lord Shiva the Lord of all Lords. I humbly prostrate before Lord Shiva, the ultimate consciousness, Lord Shiva and his consort, Goddess Mata Parvati. It is just that the issues of Bhogi are different than the issues of a Yogi. Bhogi or a Rahuish person's trouble is from the detachment that Ketu demands. Yogi or Ketuish person's trouble is from the attachment that Rahu demands. As long as this human body remains, the karmic cycle continues for both Bhogi and Yogi. Krishna was also a yogi, in fact one of the greatest yogi, and still he too had to face many issues. In fact, Gandhari cursed him. Can you imagine? Someone as great as Lord Krishna was cursed by Gandhari. As long as one remains in the human body, the karmic cycle continues. Bhogi or yogi, the rule applies to both. Whenever Ketu transits the sexual house, such as 3rd, 7th and 11th house, Rahuish men and women suffer a lot in life. 3, 7 and 11 are closely related to sex. Remember this. This is a Kama Trikon, meaning a sexual angle. So when Ketu is placed in any sexual angle, the expectation of sex should be balanced. One should not expect much from friendships, relationships, or even a marriage union. Now, in contrast, the same challenge is also for those Ketuish men and women whose Rahu is going to transit in the 3rd, 7th and 11th house. Because being Ketuish, Rahu's transit will now bring the do more and the obsession towards sex, relationships, and friendships. And this becomes a hurdle to natives' own space and spiritual growth. So you see, this is a very deep subject of Rahu Ketu transits. You have to observe the transit based on the individual's nature, that is whether he or she is a Rahuish person or a Ketuish person. I have already explained how to identify a Ketuish person and how to identify a Rahuish person. When moon is with Rahu, when you are born on the nakshatra of Rahu, when Rahu's nakshatra is rising on the ascendant, all of these makes you a perfect Rahuish person. Now the common transit reports you read, they cannot be of any help, because now you can understand why. The question that starts with a why is of great significance. While common people are behind knowing when will I get a job, when will I find a girlfriend, when will I find a boyfriend, when will I get a wife, when will I get a husband, the intelligent man wants to know why. Someday you should read my book, Why You Fear. I am certain that those who are intelligent beings will read this insightful book at some time in their life. An intelligent being is the one who lives moment to moment. He is a man of awareness. He is not lost in his past and not worried about his future. He simply lives in the moment. He is indeed a beautiful, progressive being who continues to progress, continues to flower, continues to blossom into a new man. Every person can become intelligent. Intelligence is always present in the unintelligent person. Always remember, every unintelligent person carries the potential of being an intelligent person. Unintelligence is just the seed which has not broken its shell yet. Once the shell is broken and the seed starts sprouting, it becomes intelligence. Those boys who were ridiculed by their teachers and parents as an unintelligent, dumb boy, those boys have grown up to become the presidents, the prime ministers, and the scientists. The seed is always present. It is just a matter of fact that some seeds sprout late, but when they start sprouting, they start growing in leaps and bounds, and then nobody could stop them. Once they catch up speed, they leave everyone behind. The seed of intelligence is within. The key is how you break it so that it starts sprouting. And the way to break the seed is by turning inwards and doing heart meditations. The great Sufi saint Rumi says, you have to keep breaking your heart until it opens up. The seed of intelligence is in your heart. Focus on your heart. What you focus on grows. Intelligence is of the heart. Intellectualism is of the mind. Intellectualism is a poor substitute for intelligence. Intelligence is always superior to intellectualism. The heart is always superior to the calculative head. Be a man of heart. Follow your heart. When you follow your heart, you can trust yourself. Swami Vivekananda says, that a man who can trust himself can trust God. The master, the guru, always comes to a man or woman who follows the heart. There was a young cobbler. He must be like me. He knew no prayers, no rituals, and yet when he would pray, God would come and listen to his prayers. And God loved his prayers. If I tell you his prayers, you may laugh, but his prayers came from the depth of his heart. His prayer was very simple. He would sit and say, God, I know you are very tired. I will give you a nice massage. God, I know you have been wearing ancient shoes, and your shoes have become so old. I will make new shoes for you. And God, I will also cook after you. My wife is not a good cook, but I cook well. I will cook for you. And God, you have been walking through so many millions of years, and your clothes have become so old. There must also be some dust on your body. I will give you a nice bath. God, give me a chance to serve you. I miss you, God. I miss you. That was his prayer. And God would always come and secretly listen to his prayers. Tears would roll down his eyes, but he would never appear before the poor cobbler, because he wanted the cobbler to be just the way he was. He loved the cobbler. But then it is said that one day Moses was walking on the street and he heard the prayers of the poor cobbler. Moses stopped, he looked at the poor cobbler and asked, Is this your prayer? The poor cobbler said, Yes, sir, this is my prayer. This is what I have been praying all my life. Moses said, I will teach you the proper prayer. And Moses taught the cobbler the proper prayer. The cobbler thanked him and Moses left. On his way, Moses thought that God must be happy because he has taught the proper prayer to the cobbler. And so, to receive an acknowledgement from God, Moses looked up in the sky and he was taken aback because God was angry. God was upset. God said to Moses, What have you done? That cobbler was the only man who prayed from his heart. And now you have taught him the proper prayer. But that prayer will be just of words and not of the heart. You have taken away my most beloved devotee. Moses, what have you done? And this is the real question. What have you done? People are more focused on reciting the proper prayer, the proper pronunciation, when God is searching for a man who recites prayers from his heart. To such a man, God comes. To such a man, the Master comes. To such a man, the whole universe comes. All you need is the heart. Nothing much is required, really, but a man of heart, a man of heart. And then there is a song, music, and dance to it. Sit down, close your eyes, fall in love, and stay there. Focus on your heart. Breathe in, breathe out. Your heart is beautiful. You just have to get rid of the mind, and the way to do so is by meditating and chanting every day. Meditate and chant every day, and remember, you are not alone. You are not alone. God is with you. And God is good all the time. Walk with faith and not with sight. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru.
ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः।